I had seen this video about a black woman discussing about the microaggressions that aren't talked about enough, and she spoke up about how white people have a problem when it comes to black people with status or good, like a lot of success. And what I really want to talk about, and what I feel like the core of it is, it's not just the fact that yes, it's racism and da da da, and like how could you as a black person do it, but it's almost a slap in the face because whether they want to admit or not, they know they're privileged. They know that they have a step up and advantage in the world and are already 10 steps ahead, and this world's going to cater to you by a lot, by a lot of things. It's a systemic thing. You got a lot of advantage. I'll give you that. So to see you, and you know the drill, we have to work twice as hard for half what they have to then not only make it, but surpass them. It's worse when you even go above them. Oh, that's hellfire. It's hard to wrap their head around with all the odds stacked against you. How the heck did you make it above me? That is how they look at it. It's not just the fact that a black person that's staying in a black person's zone, the black person's place, you're not supposed to be up here with us. It's just, it doesn't logically make sense in their own teeny tiny brains because what? Like, I was ahead of you. I had so many opportunities more than you. Like, the world caters to me more than you. How the heck were you able to touch where I'm at? And even if I'm not at that spot, how the heck were you able to surpass me? And once I realized that, I don't know, I kind of got giggly about it. Shit, I'd be upset too. Like, wow, if I was a white person and I knew, hey, thank God I'm not though. So
Why do white people resent black excellence? Let's talk about it. Not all white people are racist, obviously, but there is a specific subset for whom black excellence seems like a personal affront to them, right? It really bothers them when black people succeed. The 13th Amendment emancipated enslaved black Americans in 1865, and then the Jim Crow laws kind of wrapped up with the passing of the Civil Rights Act in 1964. So if we do the math, that's about 61 years in which black Americans were able to strive for success in any sort of meaningful way without like the constraints of the law pulling them down. 61 years. If we compare that to white Americans who besieged a land already owned and occupied by indigenous Americans, we'll put that around 1620 when, the Mayflower came here, then that gives them about 425 years to establish success in this country. 425 versus 61. If we compare those two fundamentally very different time spans, like how much did white Americans actually do in all of that time? If we are to compare even the poorest and most underprivileged of white America to black America generally, it is clear that white Americans are born way past the start line, right? By that I mean, by like nature of being white in American society, you do benefit from all sorts of privileges. And like, to be frank, you're not exhausted by the horrible experience of facing racism on a daily basis, right? You do have a ton of privileges. So I imagine existing in this bubble of privilege that you like totally deny, the existence of black people for whom success is like second nature when it comes so easily and so readily, even though you've only had 61 years to achieve it. I imagine that's exhausting and frustrating. I imagine it makes people feel super, super inferior and hurts certain people's tiny, tiny little egos. And what do they blame that deep, deep psychic pain on? Well, of course, DEI and critical race theory and affirmative action. So I guess the question is, what might help those white Americans who just so strongly detest black excellence? Like, what will help you? And for that, I would suggest like a lot of therapy, like a ton of therapy. And I would also just suggest that we open the schools, right? We teach people history. Yeah, maybe? Okay, bye.
It's sad how we have normalized tearing our own people down. Why is it that when a black man or woman starts winning, building wealth, and elevating their life, the first reaction isn't respect, but it's suspicion? Like, oh, they have to sell their soul, or the FBI is about to come knocking, they got to be scamming. That mindset right there is extremely dangerous. Not every blessing comes with a dark story. Not every level up is rooted in deception. As a matter of fact, if you are God's child, you definitely should be thinking with a wealth mindset and growing. So some people actually prayed and stayed disciplined and build real businesses, right? Learned the game and made sure that they were able to execute everything that they've learned. But instead of studying them, instead of supporting them, or even asking how they did it, right, we discredit them. That mentality right there, it's not of God. It's rooted in jealousy, scarcity, and a broken belief system. We can't be talking about freedom, wealth, and legacy while still operating with mental chain. That's modern day slavery, right? And you must do emancipation of the mind, right? And if you do not emancipate yourself mentally, if we don't fix that, like, we'll keep watching others win while we stay stuck. consistently trying to pull our own people down instead of rising together. So my message for you is make sure you check your heart, shift your mindset, start celebrating what's possible instead of attacking it. Because the truth is, wealth is attainable and it does not require selling your soul or skim other people to get there. Get your mind right.
Y'all, can you imagine if next year's Super Bowl is all white people? Can you envision how much rage that will cause? I can. But it's a double standard. Because this year's Super Bowl had not one white person in it. But it was cool. It was fine. I mean, I personally thought the show was trash, but that's my opinion. And I'm sure that I will get a ton of fucking hate for this video because I'm white and I'm saying this. But you know what? White people can experience racism.
So look at one of my good people in the comment section, because I went to do a quick Google search myself, but somebody already had it down, okay? Your argument would make sense if there weren't multiple counter arguments. 2003, Shania Twain. 2005, Paul McCartney. 2006, The Rolling Stones. 2008, Tom Petty. 2009, Bruce Springsteen. And in the 2010s, I know like Coldplay performed. Also, the first 5 years when the Super Bowl first began in 1967, they finally allowed Ella Fitzgerald to sing at the halftime show in 1972. So we can imagine if it was all white, because it has been, except for the players. And that is what gets me. Over half of the NFL league is black men. Y'all okay with us, black men, us, I'm saying us because, you know, they not like us, we black. Y'all okay with black men potentially getting, what I think is it, TCE or CTE, where their brain be all chopped and screwed? Y'all okay with black people sacrificing their bodies, using their brawn, their strength, and their skills to play the sport, but y'all are not okay with us being the entertainment as far as like singing, which what we do it best anyway? So I don't understand, what are you complaining about? And then to say white people can experience racism, no y'all can't, you stupid dizzy hoe. And you so unattractive. Ugh, I'm mad I even played your video. But anyways, what y'all think about this? Spread love is the Brooklyn way. Like, you don't want black people in the league? Bitch, you won't have no fucking league. You won't have a Super Bowl without us. Jealous much?
Why are white folks so triggered about black people's success? You know, I've thought about this a lot of times. The moment a white person sees a black person advancing or progressing, they become so jealous and they become so rigged. And I've come to think about it, and to my own perspective, I think the reason why white people are not happy about black people's success is because they don't have control over it. Yes. You know, anything that a white person doesn't have control over, it freaks them out. So now they see that these black people that are coming up progressively, they don't have control over them anymore. They may have control over them before when they were enslaved. But as I'm talking to you currently like this now, the white folks don't have control over the blacks. And that's why they are so freaked out. That's the reason why they feel triggered anytime they see a white man's success, a black man being successful. Well, welcome to my video, and don't take this video for granted. And don't forget, my video is for educational purpose only. It's not to freak anyone out, not to harass or embarrass anyone. Drop your thoughts, like in the comment section, and don't forget, credit belongs to the original creator of every single stitches and clips we have in our today's episode. Yeah, I'll roll up some video out for you guys to watch, and then we'll be back with commentaries. Don't forget, stay tuned and subscribe. We'll be back.
Every time Black progress happens, America always pulls the rug. And this ain't new. We had Reconstruction. Then came Jim Crow. We had the Civil Rights Movement. Then came Nixon's war on Black communities. And we got Obama. And then came Trump. Do you see the pattern? This country never gave up on racism. It just evolved it, coded it, tucked it behind slogans like states' rights and law and order. And now that Trump is back in power the second time, they don't even bother with the code anymore because they don't have to. And then some of you are shocked. But this is how white supremacy always responds to Black excellence, with backlash. Every time we rise, they always retaliate. Keep in mind, history keeps receipts. You see the pattern? Because I know I do.
Child, I was on TikTok the other day, y'all, and I can't even remember the post. But baby, I went to those comments. Y'all gotta go to the comments. Sometimes it don't all the way be that post. It be the comments. So fast forward, I go down in the comments, and this person said, she just knows in her heart of hearts that Black success, Black excellence is a direct pipeline to white racism. And baby, I had to pause. I had to pause because y'all know it's true. Because nothing, and I mean nothing, pisses racist white folks off more than Black success. Baby, you can set your watch by it. The moment a Black person shines, here they come. And baby, they be big mad. Look around. Shador Sanders, drag. Jasmine Crockett, attack. Stacey Abrams, undermine. Barack and Michelle Obama, baby, they been long gone and they still catching hate over being overqualified. Meanwhile, Donnie and them ran up in the White House with resumes of a used car salesman. Baby, nepotism at its best. Underqualified ain't even the word. But when it's us, baby, they gonna twist that story, twist that narrative, and tie themselves in knots trying to convince the world that we don't belong. And why though? Because deep down inside, they know, baby, they could never. We've done more with less. We thrive in a system that is built for our demise. And baby, they could never. That's why their brain short circuits with rage. That's why their comments overflow with vitriol. And honestly, y'all, I love that for us. I do. Because every time that rage gets out of hand, is proof that our excellence is undeniable. So happy Black History 365, y'all. Keep shining, keep winning. Because our success will always expose their mediocrity. See y'all next time.
Can somebody who's not a Black American tell me why it makes everyone so upset to know, not that we're just saying it, to know that Black Americans came up with some of the shit you find cool? I'm dead serious. I want to know. I mean, it has to be about the inferiority complex that is described as a superiority feeling that anti-Blackness is built off of. Because, like, why does it make you upset? And maybe it's because I'm a Black person that I don't really get jealous of other people very often, because I'm just like, I mean, okay, like, I don't mind. This is the reason why they say we invite too many people to the cookout. We actually don't have a problem showing you love for what you do well. But it's like knowing that Black people are the root of all the shit you think is dope, lingo, art, dance, you know, like knowing that Black people are the root of most of what's popular through social media. Why does that upset everyone so much? I don't get it. Like, we don't really give a shit who came up with this dope thing that we all get to enjoy. Maybe it's because we keep coming up with dope shit. I really don't know. But somebody who is not a Black American needs to tell me. Because, I mean, I think it's just the inferiority thing. I think it's because you you assumed you were always better than black people, but they keep being in your face with all the dope shit you have to keep using that they came up with. I don't know. Funny though.
All right, good morning, TikTok. I got a question for white America. White America, this is a serious question I got to ask you. Why is it when black people get in a position or earn a position that you feel like you should be given, that you have a problem with it? Why is it that anytime black people get a position that you felt like should be yours or given without the hard work that that same person put in, you feel like America is giving black people too much freedom or making it more, it's not about equality at that point? Why is it equality is thrown out the window when someone black earns something that you haven't been privileged to get? I really do want to know this. This is something that happens well too often. If you look, I stroll up and down TikTok and I see it so much white hatred. And white people, you can hide behind it all you want. And this is not all white people. I'm speaking to the white people that do it. So for all the white people that don't do it, this ain't about y'all. Please move to the side. This is about the white people that do it. You go up and down TikTok and you spew hatred on everybody's comments, on everybody's post that's speaking about black empowerment. It don't even have to have anything to do with you. And you're going to come on there and you're going to say something because it infuriates you that much, because you're so racist and you're so privileged. It infuriates you that much that you have to say something. But you won't be truthful with yourself. Because one thing that I know that white people love to do on comments is when they see some kind of black on black crime or somebody black woman, this is what they do. Y'all love to say that. This is what they do. Are you surprised by them because you try to categorize us in one section and try to say this is all black people? But then when you stroll and you see white people committing crimes, doing the same thing, you say you plead for forgiveness or say everybody makes mistakes. You, in fact, are the type of individuals that are poisonous to society. But then you try to spin it when people fight back and they're tired of being oppressed. You try to spin it and say, hey, y'all the reason why racism exists. Why does racism only exist when people fight against it? That's the question I ask. When people are tired and has had enough of your mockery and your betrayal and your the hurt you put on people. When people are tired of receiving that, why is it racist? See, people say black people can't be racist, and the reason why they say it is because you can only fight oppression. You can only fight oppression. So it's something that's built. Black people wouldn't think this way towards white if slavery and racism did. It's like you gotta think about it. White people have specific clans, brotherhoods that's 100% designed to hate other minorities. Not just black, other minorities. You don't see that in other places. If anybody creates any other kind of gangs and stuff like that, it's not to hate, but it's protect you from the minority. The other people that hate you. That's the reason why they say racism doesn't exist. It can put up a barrier to where everything around you you're nervous about, you're shielded about, but everything is out of reaction. Well, back to my subject. So what I asked you is, why does a black man in power scare you? Why does it infuriate you? Why does hard work from another and them receiving their reward infuriate you? What's the point? What's the real thing that we need to address in America? And don't give me this, they pitting us against each other stuff, because, listen, everybody grown at this point. You have grown individuals that's still pushing this racism shit. And it's only, they need to work against, they need to work with us when you're backed into a corner. So let's just be honest. And then don't try to blame it on us, because blacks is the most accepting culture there is. We accept anyone in the black culture that we think that rock with us. And that, in fact, alone is a problem, because we let too many people in that shouldn't be in this fucking culture. And I'm just be honest, this is not to spread hate or nothing, because I believe in unity. I wish that shit would happen. Everybody can live in one accord. And this the thing, don't get me wrong. You have a race. You can root for your race. There's nothing wrong with rooting for your race. I want to see black people fare oh so well. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to see that at the detriment of me pulling down another race because I feel inferior. You understand what I'm saying? But anyway, can somebody tell me?
The reason white people get so upset when black people are celebrated is because they believe we only exist to serve them or entertain them. If we do something within our own community for us that doesn't replicate some form of servitude or involve them at all, they feel left out. In their minds, our only purpose is to exist to serve them in some way. They believe that we should inherently sacrifice our bodies for them and do not see us as human with our own autonomy, our own ideologies, interests, capabilities.
All right, we're back. That was rookie lighting. Yeah, so I felt the need to repost this video because it touched home in terms of like experiences. So kind of just a quick story time. It was about 3 or 4 years ago. I had a patient that I was treating. The way that it works that patients normally get radiation for over an extended period of time. So let's say a patient's getting 5 weeks of radiation. They get radiation Monday through Friday. And while they're getting the radiation treatments, myself and my attending, I'll see the patient in clinic once a week for what's called an on-treatment visit. And at these visits, I'm doing a very targeted physical exam. Doing skin checks, and additionally, I'm like assessing, mental health. I'm checking in on animals. I like to know everything. So I had a patient about 3 or 4 years ago who was receiving radiation, so 5 weeks, so that's 25 fractions every day, not on the weekends. And it was probably like my third or fourth time seeing the patient at this point, so we had already established like a good rapport. Everything was cool. So I walk into the room and the patient goes, "Hey, Dr. Washington." I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" Whatever, whatever. The patient is there with their significant other. Cool. We busted up. We're having a good time. I'm asking about the dogs. Cool, 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 cool. As I'm logging into the computer, um, the patient goes, "Oh, Dr. Washington, I wanted to tell you a joke that me and my, significant other, we went to a comedy show, and the comedian said this joke." So the patient goes, "Yeah, so to kind of finish off the comedian's act or segment, whatever, they ended off with like a race joke." So now I'm already like, "Oh, where are we going with this?" So I turn to the patient because I need them to have a very clear visual of my face and my reactions because I emote a lot, um, and I'm not playing. So fast forward, the patient like, "Yeah, the comedian started off the segment by saying like, oh, I don't know why black people always say that they want to go back to Africa." So I literally, when the patient said that, I looked and I was just like, I was already looking, but like my head kind of turned to the side. I was just like, okay, I'm trying to figure out where we're going with this. So the patient proceeds to tell me the joke. Apparently, the comedian was like, "Yeah, I don't know why black people want to go back to Africa. Without them, like, we wouldn't have like good sports, we wouldn't have good food, we wouldn't have good, they're really entertaining in movies. They make movies, sports, and a lot of things entertaining." So the patient ends off their rant and they're like, "Yeah, like, we hope, black people, we hope they don't go back to Africa. They're entertaining." So I looked at the patient like this, and then I looked at the patient's significant other, and they said, and, they're entertaining. As if I'm not. Sorry, that was my intrusive thoughts. My bad. So when this happened, I looked at the ground because I needed to make sure that I was still on the ground. And then I looked at the patient. I looked at the computer. I logged out of the computer and I walked out of the room. I said, "I'll be back." I walked out of the room and I never saw the patient again. To be clear, like I don't demonize races. That's just not my thing. But and I also have a very high threshold to to label someone as a racist. It's just my thing. However, my threshold for disrespect in that category is extremely low. I'm extremely sensitive to microaggressions. I like to call them out. Um, you know, I think behavior needs to be checked when it happens. we're not gonna wait. I'm gonna let you know, whatever, whatever. But I think as a black resident, as a black trainee in medicine, it's extremely hard when you have a lot of stressors. There's a lot of pressure to perform. There's a lot of pressure to kind of, just do excellent and do well and not like, go against the grain. You don't want to ruffle any feathers. Um, but I think it's very important to have a very strong sense of self. I think it's extremely important to have support systems, so allies, people that are outside of the hospital, friends, loved ones, family members, mentors at other places, mentors that are actually in your same department. I think it's extremely important for, black residents because, or just black people in medicine, because there's so much happening right now. And it's crazy that we're here. And in an environment where it feels like everything you worked for um, is viewed as you only got there because of the tone of or complexion of your skin, it can be demoralizing. Um, so my parting words is just like, find your support system, find people who create safe spaces for you, find people that you can trust. It's hard out here. Medicine makes things a lot harder. Imagine like having a workplace environment, but also medicine attached to that. It kind of exacerbates a lot of things.
Knock, knock.
But we're on this journey to be the best doctor that we can be.
O'er the fields we go, laughing all the way.
Yeah, that's
Bells
my
on
parting words.
bobtail ring, making
y'all.
spirits
Peace.
bright. What fun it is to...
Yes, welcome back. We can see from the clips I just rolled out for us to watch right now, white people have been complaining lately. They've been complaining so bitterly about the progress of black people. And I tend to ask myself why. But I got to understand that it's because they don't have control over it. They don't have control over the black people anymore because the black people are supernaturally turning into what they don't expect. Yes. Nowadays, if you go to these white countries and the way you can't just see black people like the way they were before. Things have changed. A lot of things have changed. Black people are now standing up for themselves. They are now rising for themselves. In fact, most of the things that black people do nowadays, the white people copy it from them. These black people are very, very good when it comes to creativity. Their culture, accent, everything about them is very good. And I keep wondering why all these white folks keep jealous in them. They feel triggered, they feel raged over black people's success. Why? After you've enslaved these guys for a very long time, instead of black people, and then now they fought their way to freedom and became who they are today. Not just that, and the advancement is blowing beyond measures. You can't just walk up to any white country and see black people these days suffering. No, that have been the past, not anymore. I'm very, very happy and proud of black people all over the world because you guys are strong. It's a pain in the ass to see white folks reacting over black people's success. I mean, why would you guys be angry over it? These people are now your brothers because you've lived with them for decades of years. And I believe they've helped you guys in one or two different ways, and you feel they don't deserve a higher position? No, that's greed. You can't have all the favorable jobs for yourself and give the unfavorable jobs to the black people, like farming, cleaning, gatekeeping, security. No, we are all humans and we all deserve the best. So I'm going to advise white folks today, if you're coming across my video, you just have to be nice and generous about everybody, not just your own self, for the black people too. I mean, these people are humans like you. They are not animals. They are humans. So why do you feel triggered over their success? You guys don't want them to succeed? No, they ought to. Those people have been fighting for their freedom a very long time ago. You guys know this. And now is their time for them to relax. Now is the time for them to profit. And you feel is a threat to you? No. So thank you guys for coming across my video, and I want you to drop your thoughts, your like, comments, and share. Don't forget to subscribe, and credit belongs to the original creator of every single clips and stitches we have in today's episode. Thank you guys for watching. Like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned for my next video. Thank you all. Have a nice day.